Hey everybody, welcome to the last deck study of 2014. This deck is very cool. There's a lot of information I'm going to throw at you for this one, but it's going to be well worth it. This is the Legends playing cards Egyptian edition. These came out a few months ago in October, or early October-ish, by Conjuring Arts and the Legends playing card company. So it's a really cool deck, and this is the brainchild of Sullivan, who is a Chinese magician, and he commissioned Mark Stutzman to do the artwork on this deck. Those that have heard that name before, he's done all of the David Blaine decks, all the artwork on the split spades and the new gator backs, as well as the white lion. So he's also done some other work for Conjuring Arts, the Whispering Imps decks he did, and the Ask Alexander decks he did as well, the artwork on those. And again, the artwork on this deck is absolutely just freaking ridiculous. There's so many details, everything has a meaning, there's symbols like crazy. So we're going to talk in great detail today with this deck about Egyptian mythology. Hopefully that interests you. If it does, stay tuned. You're going to learn a ton. If it doesn't, just stay tuned to look at the cards and we'll have a lot of fun. So a quick bit of background. So this deck, the concept takes you back to 2500 BC in ancient Egypt. So there's two reasons for that. One is it was the invention of ink. Came in that time period, in that area of the world. It was also the first recorded magic trick, which a commoner was pulled out of the crowd to perform for Pharaoh, and he decapitated a goose and resurrected it, which was the magic trick. So there's your link between the playing cards, magic, and ancient Egypt. So and again, the symbology in this is really amazing. We're going to talk about it. But first, let's look at the box, which is a really, really sharp box. It's very decorative, and again, the artwork is just killer. So let's take a look at this right here. And you can see it's all gold embossed foil, really sharp. You can see Legends in that kind of bicycle font, curved across the top, just like a bicycle deck would be. And here's your Legends spade, which you've got a sword piercing the top of the spade. You've got a serpent, which we're going to talk about, the symbology there. The dogs on the bottom, we're going to talk about. That's got some symbology. That little cross feature right there has got some symbology. We're going to talk about that as well. So you got playing cards on the bottom, again, and all the shiny gold foil, which is really cool. So you got Legends playing card company on the one side, as well as the other side. Again, serpent symbology, which is we're going to talk about. You got a QPR and legal information on the bottom as well. And the back is a really cool feature. You can see this is the back design artwork, but again, it's all in the gold embossed. And this is actually a really cool feature. This is actually hollow, so you can see right into the inside of the box, which is really sharp. And if you slide a card in there, it gives you this kind of 3D image of the serpent, which is really cool. It's a really cool feature of the deck. It kind of make again kind of like a 3D type of feel to it. But again, and then the inside of the box is all shiny, just mirrored look of gold. I mean, it's really, really cool. Nothing on the flap, so there's no reveals there, just for FYI. And the seal on it is a black Egyptian legend seal, and there's some symbology there. The art, I don't think you're going to be able to see what the artwork is, but I'll show it to you because it is the artwork from the Joker that you get, and we'll talk about that as well. But this is the black seal, which comes with this deck, which is the black version of this deck. There were 3 versions made, a blue, a red, and then the black came out as well. So there's 3 versions, and again, the coloring actually has meaning to it because the gold and black in Egyptian mythology represent the earth and light. So obviously black representing the earth, gold representing the light. And the blue and red have their own meanings as well, which I won't get into, but if you want to look that up, feel free to. So there's your box. Again, we're going to talk about all these symbols as we go through the cards, so let's take a look at that in detail right now. So this is a very, I mean, the art, again, the artwork on this is just ridiculous. As you can see here, you got pyramids, you got scorpions, you got the Egyptian cross, you got the jackal dogs, birds, the serpent, sun rays, pyramids, and everything has its own little meaning. So let's start out right there with the serpent in the middle, which is Apophis is the name of the serpent, and what that represents is he was the kind of the underworld serpent, and he would attack the sun god Ra as he crossed the horizon, and the battle kind of for light and dark would ensue, and obviously the sun god would win on every morning when the sun came up. So there's a kind of that battle between underworlds going on there, and the serpent represents that. So that's what that is. Obviously the pyramids are very symbolic in Egypt as well. And let's talk about, you can see these dog type features right there. And that is Anubis, which is a jackal-headed god. So it's a human with a jackal head, which is, and that's the god of mummification and the afterlife, and it's the protector of graves. So it kind of protects the dead pharaohs, kind of symbology there. So that's what those are. And we also have up in the corner, you can see that cross-shaped symbol right there. Now what that is an ankh. It's known as the key of life, and it represents the concept of eternal life. So there's what the symbol is on that. You can see the scorpion right there, which is Serket, I think it's pronounced. It's the goddess of healing and venomous stings and bites. So there's that right there. You can see the little face up at the top corner there. You can see a little zoom in on the scorpion there, and there's that. You can see the birds as well. I didn't go that far into it. I know Osiris is symbolized by birds a lot of the times, which is the god of the underworld. Or goddess of the underworld, I should say, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And you can see the sun rays coming out of the serpent in the middle, which again I kind of talked about the symbology of the battle between light and dark, and Ra, the sun god, would rise every day and go down and cross into the underworld, and that battle would ensue. So there's a lot of the symbology from the back design. Like everything has its a reason to be there. So it was a really well designed back. It is a marked back, which I'm not going to get into. You can, if you get the deck, you can kind of look at that yourself. I'm not going to get into it in this, but just to let you know that they are marked. So there's that, and again, that's the Legends logo, by the way, if I didn't mention that before, just put into serpent form for the cards. So what you get with this deck is, first, you get one gaff card, which is a blank card. So you get that, and the one downside to this deck is you only get one Joker. So with Legends, they only print so many number of cards per deck. So if you get the gaff card, which you do in this deck, you only get one Joker. And this is a really good Joker. It is really good. So let's take a look at some of this detail. And it's a dragon hovering over the pyramids. As you can see, the Nile River is behind, kind of flowing through the pyramids. It's Series 202, which is the series of cards this is. The dragon is kind of springing the cards to his hands, and there's a 3 of spades reveal in that middle card. I don't know if you can pick it out right there, which is cool. So what does the dragon mean? I didn't really kind of put dragons in with ancient Egypt, but it is. And Aker is the dragon representing the earth, And what it does is, how the mythology goes is, it binds the coils of the serpent, that we talked about in the beginning, Opapus. The serpent would kind of coil the serpent, or the dragon would coil the serpent, protecting Ra as it passed through the underworld. So the point, and then it would represent where the eastern or western horizons of the underworld would meet. So he would kind of aid the forces of light by binding and chaining the serpent when Ra would pass through the underworld. So the dragon would protect the sun god Ra passing through the underworld by coiling the serpent. So that's kind of how the story goes, how the sun rises and falls on a day cycle in ancient Egypt. So there's this story behind that. So I thought that was really cool. So because I never really saw dragons as part of ancient Egypt, but again, that's Aker and Opaphis, the serpent. So there's that, really cool. And again, really well done Joker. And again, this is the artwork from the seal, which I was talking about before. So there is that. The cards are fairly standard. Not fairly standard, they are standard, but two. So as you can see, they are standard color, standard face with a little color variation. As you can see, nothing crazy. You can see the color variation. Just like a lot of the decks we're seeing now, they kind of replace that gold color from the bicycles with this nice two-tone gold. Excuse me. I've seen that in a lot of the decks that have come out lately. With the kind of gives it kind of a darker feel, which is really cool. But as you can see, standard faces on the cards, and it's just a normal bicycle red. And again, you can see the gold two-tone there. So the two cards that are different are the King of Spades and the Queen of Spades. And as you can, let me just zoom in on there. You can see the custom face, and that's actually Lawrence Sullivan, the deck creator. And the Queen of Spades is a friend who is unidentified, but it's one of Lawrence Sullivan's friends, a girlfriend or significant other of some sort. So those are your two custom cards, court cards. Everything else is standard as far as the cards go. Now let's look at this Ace of Spades, which is really sweet. So here we go again. You got the sword piercing the top of the spade. You got the serpent, Opaphis, I hope I'm saying that right, Opaphis, the serpent attacking Ra in the underworld, like we just talked about. And you can see some legalese right there. Number 202, again, that's a series of card this is. And again, everything else is on, but there's some blue color in there. You can see the pyramid in the background, which again, is prominent in Egypt culture. So there is your Custom Legends Egyptian Edition Ace of Spades. So I know I kind of went through a lot, and I went through it really fast. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this deck, and it's a nice deck. It is. It's the Legends have put out some nice stuff. We just looked at the Zen decks, which were done by them in Conjuring Arts. No, those were actually the Expert Playing Card Company. Sorry about that. But again, the handling it feels similar because they were cut in Taiwan from the same. I'm assuming it's a similar stock. So it handles really well. They're slick, but they're not as slick as the Boardwalk Papers. They're not as slick as the Lay Me Yes cards, which Legends did do. So they're very similar, but they're not quite they're a little thinner than those are, so they don't slide as easy as the Legends ones did. So I know I went through a lot, but like I said, everything has its purpose. Again, to recap, I think the story between the serpent and the dragon is really cool. All the mythological creatures. We have Serket, the goddess of venom. We got Ankh, which is the cross symbol on it as well. As well as Aker, the dragon. We have Apophis. We have Anubis, which is the jackal-headed. We have Osiris, which is the god of birds and the underworld, which is kind of where this green comes in as well. On the box, which is green, was always associated with Osiris, the god of the underworld. And I almost forgot. Let's get into that real quick. You can see these two symbols here, which are the crook and flail, which is a symbol of the pharaoh or gods, and most of them carry that. And they represent the two functions of the king of Egypt. So the crook represents the shepherd, the career of the people, and the flail represents punishment deemed necessary to sustain a society. And Osiris was always pictured carrying these two items in her hands, as well as the green kind of face as well. So there it is, tons in there. This deck is really, really nice. I highly recommend one of these three, the either black, red, or blue. I actually really like the black version with the gold. It's really sharp. I hope you guys like this deck, and let me know what you think. Hopefully you got some good information out of this. I thought it was really cool researching, like I said. And again, the deck is super sweet. The artwork is just ridiculous, like I said. But again, I wouldn't think anything less from what Stutzman does. So all his decks are phenomenal as far as the artwork goes. So I hope you dig this. Let me know, comment below. And just a real quick news and note, the contest is still going on. I'm actually going to be picking a winner here in the next day or so we can get the deck ordered and here by the beginning of the year. So, but again, that reveal will be at the beginning of January when I reveal the top 5 decks from this year, which this one possibly will be one of them, because I think it's that good. So look for that, and I hope you guys have a good holiday season, whatever holiday you are involved with, whether it be Christmas or Hanukkah or any of the other ones. So, and have a good New Year as well, and I'll see you next year. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you out there.